good morning. This is Dr. Neha Dubey. I'm here to discuss the topic of managerial economics, that is inflation. Today I'm going to brief you what is inflation. So, how inflation can define? Inflation is defined as a situation where there is a sustained, unchecked increase in the general price level and a fall in the purchasing power of money. Means we can say that inflation is arises, inflation, everything is getting the higher prices. We can say that the general price level will be high and our purchasing power can be less at that time. So, we can call it as a inflation. Hence, it is a condition of a price rise. The reason for the price rise can be classified under two main heads, that is increase in demand and reduced supply. We generally understand by taking a one example of a in a previous months we saw that the tomato prices or the petrol prices are hike very much. So that what is the reason behind that? The demand is increasing, but for fulfilling that demand the supply cannot match it, so the price can be rise. Inflation explained with this example. Suppose rupees 100 rupees, last week you bought a 5 kg of a rice. This means that the cost of a 1 kg of rice was rupees 20, and this week when you approached the same shopkeeper and paid rupees 100 to get rice, he gave only the 4 kg of rice. So what is the difference between this? Firstly, you can buy 20 rupees per kg of rice. Now you can able to buy the 25 rupees per kg of rice. Right? So this example clearly explains that the fall in the purchasing power of money, that is for rupees 100, you could get 5 kg of rice before, but now only 4 kgs. So purchasing power of a money was reduced, and this is inflation. And let's calculate the rate or the percentage. If the price of rice, which was 20 rupees per kg, increased to the 25 rupees, so what is the corresponds change in the price? That is 5 rupees. And what is the initial price? So 20 rupees comes in a denominator multiplied by 100. So we can say 25% increases. So the inflation rate is a 25%. That is very high rate. Now the current rates. Inflation rates in India, there are the different indices in India like wholesale price index, consumer price index, which measures the inflation rates in India. But what we generally find in a headline is the rate in India is a rate based on a WPI. Now after 2014, it has been changed to the consumer price index. In the last 50 years, the WPI based rates show an average inflation rates of around 7 to 8%, and the highest inflation rate observed in India was 34.68% in September 1974, and the lowest rate touched the minus 11.31% in the May of 1976. This is called the case of deflation. So how to measure the inflation rate? Unchecked inflation can ruin the whole economy, and there are many examples from African and South American economies which got shattered by the high rates. But no measures the inflation rate in India. And what are the types of inflation indices in India? Let's study each of them. Inflation can be measured at a three level. First is a producer level, wholesale level, and the retailer, means where we are buying it. Prices generally rise at each level till the commodity finally reaches the hand of the consumer. So retailer is considered as a consumer price level. Now the inflation at the producer level. As of now in India, there is no index to measure inflation at the producer level. A producer price index PPI has been proposed, but so far this type of inflation calculation has not started in India. Inflation at a wholesale level. In India, this is the most widely used method for calculating the inflation rate. The wholesale price index is the index used to calculate wholesale inflation, that is WPI. This rate inflation is commonly referred to as a headline inflation, and the Office of Economic Advisor, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, publishes the WPI. The base year is aligned with the CPI as a 2012, that is base year. Prior to 2014, the RBI used WPI to make the majority of its policy decisions. However, the WPI based inflation calculation was not false proof. WPI displays the total price of a commodity basket of 697 items, and the RBI shifted to CPI for policy decision beginning in 2014. So what can be considered while calculating the WPI or CPI? So parties involved in a WPI is a producer or wholesaler published by Office of Economic Advisor, that is the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, base year considered as a 2012 and measured at a final stage of a transition. Now the Consumer Price Index. Consumer and retailer is the parties involved, published by the National Statistical Office, NSO, Ministry of Statistics and Program, Implementation and Labor Bureau. Base year is 2011 and 2012 and measured at an initial stage of a translation. Now the India Wholesale Price Index change. In India, Wholesale Price Index is the main measure of inflation. The WPI measures the price of a representative basket of wholesale goods. In India, Wholesale Price Index is divided into three articles, right? So the first is a primary article, second one is a fuel and power, and the manufactured products, and the different percentage are there. The food and index from the primary article and the manufactured products group accounts for the 24.4% of a total weight. So most important component of a manufactured products groups are the basic metals, that is 9.7% of total weight. Food product contain 9.1% and chemical and other products 6.5%. Textile 4.9%. Within the primary article group, the most important component is the food articles, that is 15.3%. So while within fuel and power, the most important category is HSD, that is 3.1%. So here is a table shown. Inflation at a consumer price index. Now it is considerable as we are calculating the inflation rate on the basis of CPI. After 2014, India, the index that shows rate at the retail level is known as a consumer price index. The consumer price index is a statistic used to assess changes in the average price level of a